Our first inductee served as at the helm of the MSU Denver Roadrunners volleyball program for 16 outstanding seasons. She recorded a 70.4% winning percentage throughout her time with the Roadrunners, coaching 11 different players who earned 15 All-American honors. Those who had the opportunity to work with her describe her as a fierce competitor, and RMAC volleyball history would certainly not be the same without the level of grit and competitiveness she brought to the league. And she started a streak of 16 consecutive NCAA appearances at MSU Denver that continues today under the strong tutelage of head coach Jenny Glenn, and won a national title at the other conference, the Lone Star Conference, the rival in Division II in 1998 for West Texas A&M. She finished her collegiate career with 549 wins. And on a personal note, I just thrilled that I have a chance. She's my esteemed volleyball Keller analyst. When she's not calling the national championship or mentoring other coaches or keeping track of former players and just really being a good human. She's done it all. We want to please welcome to the stage MSU Denver's Debbie Hendricks. And before we do that, let's take a look.
There are moments in
We're going to real quick take a look at the video of Debbie right now.
Debbie came to Metro State in 2000, and the spring of that year I was diagnosed with cancer. I didn't have to miss too much work, but she would practice in the gym, and my office overlooked the gym. I was on the second floor. So I would watch her work, and after a couple of years, she came to me. We didn't know each other all that well, and her mother was diagnosed with cancer, and so she knew about my experience and had a lot of questions, and that was really kind of the springboard for us to become very good friends. And over the course of her 16 years, she was my best friend on campus.
Debbie Hendricks' 16 years at the helm of the Roadrunner volleyball program were some of the best in school history, as she led them to 3 RMAC regular season titles, 6 tournament titles, and made the NCAA tournament all 16 seasons.
She is an absolutely fierce competitor, and that was evident, and I knew that from so many different interactions with her. But it was really interesting to me to observe her as a coach, because she had such a quiet demeanor with respect to dealing with officials, that sort of thing. She was always in control, and I remember talking to her about, I don't know if I'm wired that same way, that things would really get to me. And she said, Joe, I was a head coach at 22 or 23 years of age, and I realized right away I had to make a decision to stay calm, because if I didn't do that, my players would feed off of that, it would hurt, and I'm not going to do anything to compromise their opportunity to win.
And win they did. Hendricks is second all-time at MSU Denver with 353 career victories, second in school history in career winning percentage, and 5th in Roadrunner lore in conference victories.
She did what successful people do. She wasn't afraid to work hard. She wasn't afraid to put in the time to give herself an edge, and she understood that if you want to be the very, very best, there's just no shortcut. And so she was a student not only of volleyball, but of the science of training, the science of nutrition, the science of sports psychology, the biomechanics of volleyball skills. So all of that was so impressive to me, and also the way she dealt with her athletes. She held them to a very high standard. She wasn't afraid to call them out and hold them accountable, because she held herself accountable.
An accountability that led to more than half of the school's volleyball conference tournament championships and NCAA appearances.
Debbie, I know I speak on behalf of many people in your life, your family, your friends, your colleagues, and your competitors, and of course, your athletes, when I say congratulations. This is such a prestigious honor. You're so deserving. I'm so honored to have been chosen to be the first person to say congratulations and welcome to the RMAC Hall of Fame, class of 2025. We're all so proud of you. Enjoy it, friend.
Congratulations to former MSU Denver head volleyball coach Debbie Hendricks, a member of the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference Hall of Fame class of 2025.
That was a great photo, by the way, that
Oh my
last
God.
one. I'm not sure.
Where did that last one
What
come
year was
from?
that?
No year. Oh, I was enjoying all the pictures of me 20 plus years ago until that last one. That was awful. Thank you. First of all, Joe, thank you for those kind words. And thank you to the RMAC for this prestigious award. It's been almost 10 years since I retired from coaching, and when I received the call from Chris Graham about the Hall of Fame honor, I was very humbled, and I immediately became reflective, and I want to share a couple of the things that have been on my mind since that call. First of all, I really feel I was blessed to coach in what I believe to be the sweet spot era for women's athletics. My career started just as great progress had been made with the legislation of Title IX and the incredible work of many courageous women and men to implement better opportunities and resources for women and girls in sports. I was an early beneficiary of much of that hard work. Then in 2016, after 25 years of coaching, I decided to leave the profession, and it was just before we encountered major changes to the landscape of college athletics. No doubt, change is good, and we are seeing greater visibility and resources for women in athletics. But I certainly don't mind that I missed out on the turbulence of COVID, all of the Zoom meetings, or the major adjustments coaches have had to make with the implementation of the NIL and transfer portal. So this is why I believe I really did coach in the sweet spot of women's athletics. I was also very fortunate to coach at a special institution. When I arrived at Metro State in 2000, change was underway. The administration was increasing the resources and support to athletics and giving us the means to be successful. While there, I worked with some wonderful people, a few who are here tonight. I'm grateful to have spent all but 1 year working with and learning from my athletic director, Joan McDermott. Everywhere she goes, she makes special things happen. In the early days, there were a few of us that were very close, and two of the closest ones to me were Mike Dunlap and Derek Clark, and they're both here tonight. I really appreciate you guys being here. We were all babies back then. Other individuals here tonight who also made a big impact on my time and success at Metro include Jared Otis, Eric Lansing, and Elaine Bax, and of course my former colleague and great friend who you just heard from, Joe Quattrochi. And Todd, I didn't get to work with you, but I appreciate the job you're doing to keep the program succeeding and heading in a good direction. Every coach worth their salt will tell you they can't have much success without the athletes, those who have difference-making talent and who are a great fit. I'm so grateful to have 4 of my former athletes with me here tonight. Devin Heron Brown, who was my very first recruit at Metro State. I think I actually maybe was recruiting her before I even had an apartment to live in. Julie Green Davis, Anna Mapes, and Amy Watanabe, who not only was an athlete for our program, but also one of my favorite assistant coaches. All 4 of these women left a major mark on the RMAC, the region, and the nation with their play, and they have the awards to show for it. They were also critical in building and maintaining our culture of success. Finally, and the reason we're all here, I coached and we competed in an incredible conference. Without a doubt, one of the premier leagues in Division II. I spent 2/3 of my career in the RMAC, and there was much to appreciate about it. First, I appreciated the competitiveness, and you've heard about the competitiveness here tonight. When I arrived in 2000, the perennial powers were Metro State, UNK, and this is in volleyball, Regis and Mesa. And during the next 5 to 10 years, we saw the parity increase dramatically. Mines became a rival and national power. Fort Lewis, UCCS, Adams, and others became conference contenders. All of this increased our strength as a league, and the result was we were regularly putting 5 teams in the 8-team regional for the national tournament. We were a tough and respected league. The second thing I really appreciated about the RMAC was the camaraderie. Coaches, we were fierce competitors, but at the end of the day, we were friends, we cared about each other, and we worked together. And I really do think that's unique to Division II, but it was special in this conference. The third thing, and this is a mixed bag, is the travel. You know, in the middle of the volleyball season, we played crossover, and so in late September, early October, we were heading to the Western Slopes. And you know what fall looks like in the Western Slope. So sometimes that just took a little bit of the edge off of the season. Although regarding travel, the 10 years that Western New Mexico was a member of the RMAC, those were some travel nightmares. In 2006, their first year back in the RMAC, they ended up winning the regular season championship, meaning they were the host for the RMAC tournament, meaning 7 teams, including the Denver schools and Nebraska Kearney, had to find their way to Silver City, New Mexico, down by El Paso, with just a few days of preparation. That deal made the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles look like child's play. And fourth about our conference was the leadership and growth. I was fortunate to work with both J.R. Smith and Chris Graham, conference commissioners during my tenure. I also served a few years as the senior woman administrator at Metro State, so I witnessed firsthand the commitment of this league to growth and excellence. Since leaving coaching, I have kept one foot in the game through broadcasting, and Mary Kay Morrow just mentioned that. Shout out to Eric Danner. He's actually the one, I don't know where you are, Eric, but not long after I got out of coaching, he called me and asked if I would be willing to do some broadcasting for the Western Athletic Conference, and I thought he was crazy. But I've been able to get work in several conferences, broadcast the illustrious Premier Tournament in Denver, and I've been selected to broadcast the last 6 Division II national championships in volleyball. Through this work, though, I've gotten a closer view of many of the leagues in this country, and it has truly heightened my appreciation for the RMAC, a league that is doing things the right way and for the right reasons. It was an honor to coach in the RMAC, and I'm incredibly grateful to accept this award. Congratulations to the other honorees tonight. Ryan, I think you're over by my table. I live in Florida now, and I was actually in attendance at your Super Bowl victory. Pretty cool, Tampa Bay Bucks. And Brandon, I'm glad we got to do this Hall of Fame together since we missed the last one at Metro State. A special thanks to Peggy and Jill for being here, and to all of you, thank you for a very special night.